Call this September 4, 2013 meeting to order, and I'll ask you all to stand with us and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call roll, please, Steve.
Yes, sir. Benberry. Crecilius.
Here.
Morrison.
Here.
Schramke.
Here.
Shadle.
Here.
Wade.
Here.
Chairman Manchester.
Here. Lorraine, you have the minutes motion.
I move that the reading of the minutes for August 19th, 2013 be waived and that the minutes of said meeting as prepared by the secretary be approved as written.
Second.
Seconded by Crecilius. Any discussion? Additions or corrections? Call roll, please, Steve.
Yes, sir. Schramke.
Aye.
Shadle.
Aye.
Wade.
Aye.
Crecilius.
Aye.
Morrison.
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. Bob, you have actually two motions. The first one is removed from the table.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the agenda item number 130819-2, zoning text amendment, be removed from the table.
Second.
Seconded by Crecilius. Any discussion on that? We did it for a date certain. Call roll.
Wade.
Aye.
Crecilius.
Aye.
Morrison.
Aye.
Schramke.
Aye.
Shadle.
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. Bob,
Mr. Chairman, I move that a resolution entitled "A Resolution Constituting the Final Report of the Paducah Planning Commission on the Proposed Text Amendment of the Paducah Zoning Ordinance by amending Section 126-76 sign regulations" be adopted.
Second.
second by Shadle. Y'all want him to repeat that? I didn't think so. Steve, what is this final?
At the last meeting, with the introduction of this text amendment, the Planning Commission instructed staff to go back and take a look at those regulations again to see if there's anything that needed to be added as it relates to maybe properties or apartment complexes that were located on two streets or maybe apartment complexes that took up 2 blocks. Also, I think there was some discussion at that time about entrances and exits into those apartment complex facilities. So the text amendment that you see in front of you allows one sign, same size as the last time, unless you have over 300 feet. A block is typically around 300 feet. At that case, you could have two signs representing your property. It also allows for entrance and exit signs into those properties. If you are located on a corner, you can have a sign on one street and then also have a sign on the other street. We looked at a couple of the complexes and how that would impact them. And if you see on page 3 of your staff report, Black Oaks, for instance, it would be able to have 2 apartment complex signs plus 1 directional sign off North 29th Street. Cardinal Point would be allowed 2 apartment complex signs and 2 directional signs. And the last one, Hillcrest, it only says 1 apartment complex, but I believe in that case it would actually be allowed to have 2. So on some of them it does make a difference. Typically what I think we'll still see though in most cases, since in the areas they're at, you'll probably only see 1 sign, but this does allow them the flexibility to have those entrance and exit signs and have other signage if on 2 streets, for instance.
Any questions? Thank you for that review. That's interesting to note those things. So the main effect of this motion is to allow signage for apartment complexes or other suitable housing that's set out in those zones, and limits the numbers based on the frontage on the street rather than on the number of apartments.
Correct. And they also can only be lighted indirectly, no internally lit signs.
Okay. Any other questions? Call roll, please.
Yes, sir. Wade.
Aye.
Crecilius.
Aye.
Morrison.
Aye.
Schramke.
Aye.
Shadle.
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. John, you have the E&T Enterprises LLC public hearing zone change at Hayden Avenue.
Yes. I move that a resolution entitled, "A Resolution Constituting the Final Report of the Paducah Planning Commission on the Proposed Zoning Change from R2, Low and Medium Density Residential Zone, to R4, High Density Residential Zone, the property located at 625, 637 Hayden Avenue, be adopted."
Second?
Is that Bob? Bob Wade?
I do have a presentation also, if you would like me to give a presentation. Would you like me to give the presentation before you hear from the public or after?
Let's have it now, then it'll all be in sequence, and I might have some questions for the engineer and anybody else who wants to speak on the issue.
The proposal is for rezoning of 625 and 637 Hayden Avenue. The rezoning was initiated by the property owners, Dr. Turnbow and Dr. Eichels. The proposed zone change is from R2 low and medium density residential to R4 high density residential zone. The doctors wish to expand the parking lot for their existing office building at 546 Lone Oak Road. R4 zoning, which is the proposed zoning, it's a residential zoning, is adjacent to the subject property on the north. Professional offices are principally permitted in the R4 zone. A couple examples are doctors' offices and lawyers' offices, for example. The proposed parking area will occupy the north 150 feet of the total subject property, meaning the parking area does not take in the entire area to be rezoned. The entire area to be rezoned is what is owned by the doctors. This map kind of shows the outlined red area that is proposed to be rezoned. The left portion of it, 150-foot portion of it, is the area actually where the parking is going to be. You can see the pinkish color to the bottom of that. That is all business zoned at this point, so it's directly contiguous with existing commercial zoning. Another picture of it, a little blown in a little bit. You see the ophthalmology group on the lower right-hand side. Dr. Turnbow and Eichels is on the left-hand side of the red box, which is the area to be rezoned. CVS is across the street from them. And then to the far right is Fernwood Apartments. To the rear of, you can see Parkview Nursing Home. This is the future land use map, and as I blew in, it got a little bit worse, but what you can see is Parkview back in the back, the larger structure, and pretty much everything from Goodman over is all red, which means our future land use plan, as part of our comprehensive plan, shows this area to be zoned commercial at some point in the future. The proposed area to be rezoned is in compliance with the City of Paducah Comprehensive Plan, which I just mentioned. Other land uses in the area, the doctor's offices, Parkview, the ophthalmology group, and then 3 single-family homes to the east and south. The R2, which is the existing zoning, allows single-family homes, duplexes, parks, playgrounds, community centers, churches, and schools are allowed by conditional use, which is issued by the Board of Adjustment. The R4, which it's going to, allows principally churches, nursing homes, professional offices, residential uses, and daycares. A couple of notes here. The future land use map shows the property as commercial, and this would be a continuation of an existing business. And that's just a quick overview.
Where is the entrance and exit to this parking area?
I'm going to let the engineer surveyor come up and answer those questions.
They will be using the existing entrance that's already on Lone Oak Road.
The existing entrance, there's no development of Hayden, is that
No,
correct?
it does not.
So basically, it would connect with their parking lot that they have at E&T Enterprises, which is over on the road that basically leads to Parkview,
That's
correct?
correct.
And it comes down from the lower section, not off of Lone Oak Road, correct?
That's correct. Well, it ties into they will be still using the entrance that comes off of Lone Oak Road, but.
Well, I mean, there's one on the north side, which is the entrance, doesn't come directly off of Lone Oak Road, but then there's one that goes down a big hill.
Yes.
They use that
It
one?
goes back to Park Avenue.
Right.
Nursing
That
home.
goes to Lone Oak Road.
Pardon?
Goes to Lone Oak Road, not Park Avenue.
Yeah, well, I meant Parkview Nursing Home or whatever,
Parkview.
yes.
Any questions?
So there will be no entrance from Hayden Avenue?
No.
Okay. No increased traffic through there?
No, that's actually undeveloped
Right.
back there towards the area we're working on.
Now, there's 3 residential homes that connect to this property or adjacent to this property?
No, I think there's only one
One,
that's directly adjacent, that's across the alley, but there's 3 within the area. I think on page 3 of your staff report, you can see the residential structure that is
There
referred to.
be some sort of screening or something?
yes.
What type do you have?
I'm not sure if they're deciding to put up fences or shrubbery or it'll meet the city ordinances. for screening.
If you'd like, I'll tell you what the city ordinance says about screening. The Paducah zoning ordinances say that you have to have a solid screening system that separates the parking lot from adjacent residential areas. That could be a combination of shrubberies or deciduous type plants with fences, or it can be one or the other. Regardless, it has to be 80% opaque during the winter months. So it can be a solid evergreen row. It could be some type of wooden type fence, but it does have to screen that parking lot from the adjacent residential area. That it will be part of, if approved by the Planning Commission and City Commission, it'd be part of the site development review process, submitted with like anything else that's submitted for new development in the city of Paducah.
This shows an adjacent lot at 139 Goodman Drive. And then 2 residents on Hayden, one of them on Goodman and Hayden. And then one at 621 Hayden. Maybe a little on, 621, 608. Any other questions of this gentleman? You would, sir, have a seat, and we'll let you come back up and answer any questions we might have. At this time, if you have any questions or comments you'd like to make, please come forward to the microphone. Give us your name and address, please.
I'm at 621 Hayden Avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
I have lots 4 and 5, and then my in-laws had 6, 7, and 8 on Hayden and Goodman over there.
Okay.
And as I understand it, the parking lot they're wanting to put is adjacent to their present offices, the doctors.
That is correct.
Okay, well, I've lived there 60 years. I hope I can continue living, to live there, but I just wanted to be sure that they're adjacent to the doctor's offices.
Thank you, ma'am.
And it won't do any good to say anything now, I don't reckon. But that branch thing, when it runs through there and gets full of water, it is eating out into Hayden Avenue. Okay,
The drainage is?
that ditch that runs through there.
I'll make a note of that and pass that.
Yes, it's about a 6 or 8 foot trough already into Hayden Avenue off of that branch headed toward my house.
Any
It's
other
right there.
person like to make a comment
This is only going down about this far there,
or questions, if you have any?
even though there's rezoning all of that.
Or, any of y'all have any questions?
Where was that ditch that she's talking about?
In the middle there, it shows it darker.
Oh, I'm looking at it.
On page 3 of your staff report, you probably can see the darker line.
Okay.
I don't think the area that they're proposing where the parking structure is going is even going to make it to that drainage facility. It'll be closer towards the existing parking lot and the existing Dr. Eichel's property.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? The R4 is one step below commercial, which is in our ordinance for future use, and this is a more restricted use than commercial. Some people would disagree, but still, it's not a commercial use.
Retail is not allowed
Right.
in this zone.
Any questions? I'll close this public hearing. Any discussion before y'all vote? If there is. Call roll, please, Steve.
Yes, sir. Shadle,
Aye.
Wade,
Aye.
Benberry, Casilius,
Aye.
Morrison,
Aye.
Schramke,
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. Kathy, you have the Strawberry Hills request for subdivision.
Move that a resolution entitled, "A Resolution Constituting the Final Report of the Paducah Planning Commission on the Proposed Final Subdivision of Property Located at 4600 Village Square Drive" be adopted.
Second.
Second by Schramke. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a conflict, and
All right.
We
I'll
previously
excuse you
discussed.
then.
He probably did.
All right, this is dedicating right-of-way to the city for James Sanders Boulevard. I have a question.
Okay.
Having used that road heading into this new extension, does that really match up, or is it a little narrower? With,
It matches what's across the street. I mean,
okay,
James Sanders heading south, it'll be the same section across the road.
traffic controls,
I mean, there's a turn lane at the intersection, but then it goes back to, just a two-lane road. Looks like
any other? any other
150
questions?
feet or so down the road.
The preliminary subdivision was approved on August 20th, 2012. Obviously, they're into construction. Upon the completion of the construction of it, the city engineer will verify it, and it will eventually go on to the city commission for acceptance of that right-of-way.
Public interest, my interest, maybe. Why does it take so long for the paving of this? It looks like it's been sitting there forever, but I know you gotta let it settle, is that it?
It's more to do with the developer, I guess, and a lot of times with all the construction going on with the office building they were building, if you pave it, then sometimes the paving gets damaged with all the
I hear you.
construction stuff. So
I just wondered.
Yeah.
Nothing serious?
may have something to do with funding a little bit. I don't know, but
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
The only thing I was
All
wondering
right.
about is the size. I mean, you're leading off into Perkins Creek. I think this is going to become busier than we think. I think this is going to be quite a busy thoroughfare to lead you back to this other properties there. So I guess I'm concerned about that it's a two-lane, is it going to be able to hold all of this traffic?
Well-
James Sanders on the other side of the street, I believe, is larger with turning lanes and things.
Are you inquiring about maybe traffic controls on the lights for turns and things?
I am.
How will that be addressed? Do you have any idea, Steve, or the engineer?
typically what happens is if a problem occurs or it becomes a problem, then it's looked at and a study will be done, and then remedies will be considered. In Pecan Drive, of course, I guess is 3 lanes with a center turn lane for allowing traffic now to go and make a left turn lane unimpeded. Typically, there hasn't been a traffic study done, and one hasn't been asked by the city to be done. But typically, if if a problem occurs and it becomes a problem, then they look at that time and
Kind of
make
like
some kind of
Pecan,
remedy.
whoever thought it would carry the traffic's been carrying.
The roadway plans were submitted to our Engineering Public Works Department and reviewed and approved. Typically, the city's engineer does a good job of looking at the roadway before approval or even before submittals done by the applicant in requesting additional turn lanes or additional widths if he thinks that is what is needed. But in the preliminary plat, a portion of this was originally submitted, the cross-section was submitted for approval or for preliminary approval from this commission. It was granted, and they've started the construction of the roadway. But certainly, as it was pointed out here, at some point in the future, if there is some need or something comes up where we think that additional work needs to be done, that would be looked at, and that construction could happen. If, for instance, lighting, those types of things are always looked at separately.
I see the traffic flow now, and it's heavy with the restaurants
Absolutely.
there and, you know, the developments that are going around there and everything, and I just, I think we'll be back. Or they'll be back to you.
Could I ask,
David?
on the turn signal, and it's kind of relevant since this was brought up, on the turn signal that's been put in there, are there any arrows for the traffic coming off of James Sanders Boulevard, as it's called?
You mean the new
The
section?
new section.
The new
Is there-
section, I haven't
is there a
seen,
turn for a left.
we haven't
I'm
been
cutting through
involved.
there and I want to make a left.
There is a left turn lane, which matches up with the left turn lane across the street, and usually, signals will be coordinated where, the same movements will be allowed at opposing intersections.
I just,
So if there's a left.
There'll be a
turn lane,
four-legged
there's a left, right, it'll be the same. There is a dedicated left turn lane.
so the signal that was put in probably has a left turn signal.
Yeah, to make the phasing and stuff work right, usually they're synced up. So if there's a left turn lane from James Sanders onto Pecan, then there'll be a left turn lane signal from James Sanders, the opposite way,
Turning west.
turning west.
Any other questions? Mr. Wade has disqualified himself, so he will not be called. Reason for that being, if he abstained, it would be counted as a positive vote. Is that correct, Dan? Okay, call roll.
Yes, sir.
He's recusing. Recusing.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so it's just, he's not voting at all.
He's not here.
Crecilius,
Aye.
Morrison,
Aye.
Schramke,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. David, you have the campus sign request from Murray State.
Yes, sir, I do. I move that this commission receive and file the application of Murray State University for the approval of a campus sign to be located at the northwest corner of Audubon Drive and Sunset Avenue pursuant to Section 126-76B of the Paducah zoning ordinance. I further move that this commission find that the signs will not have a negative impact on vehicular traffic or adjacent neighbors, and that the Planning Commission has approval authority for the campus signs to be located at the northwest corner of Audubon Drive and Sunset Avenue. I further move the application be approved.
Second.
Second by Shadle. So this vacant across the street is owned by the church.
Right.
Approved.
And if you drive by there right now, they have two posts where the end of the sign's going to be with a pink, I think it's a pink
Yes, it is.
ribbon
I looked tonight
across there,
on
yeah.
the way over.
to give
And
you
it's
an
a
idea.
stop sign there at that intersection anyhow.
Four-way stop.
Okay.
I like the visual, Steve.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, very nice.
Yes, there's a representative, Mr. Kim Oatman's here from Murray State University, if you have questions. If you'd like, Chairman, I'll kind of real quickly explain the whole campus sign theory. Would you like me to, or?
Yeah, let's hear that.
Okay. There's only a few places in town that we actually use the campus sign approval process, and one of those is, for instance, is WKCTCS. maybe the Western Baptist Hospital, some of the hospitals. They're really larger complexes that have multiple entrances and have, higher access into those types of developments. And what allows the property owner to do something typically that's not allowed in the city, and that's to have off-premise advertised signs. For instance, on the corner of 28th and Walter Tatana, I guess it is, there's a Western Baptist Hospital sign that says emergency room in this direction. It's a couple blocks away, but it's very important for that facility to guide people as they come in to know where to go. This is very similar. It's a larger complex. It's set off the road. This sign allows, even though it's off premise, it allows the people as they come into the facility to know exactly where to turn. So the approval process is before the Planning Commission with campus sign approvals.
What ingress and egress to this property is there other than from Sunset?
That is the only one.
So I know when we originally heard, not for the campus, but for something else, there was another ingress and egress that was proposed off of Buckner Lane. Has that been?
Did you hear the question, sir?
Yes, I did, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Thank you. At this point, we don't have a plan to build a road out to Buckner. We do have an easement that someday we may. We don't have funding right now, and we don't know that we will need it. We'll kind of see. We'll open up and we'll see how it goes. And I think if need arises, we'll think about building a road out there. But right now, we don't have funding, but we have the easement.
Will there be signage on 24?
Actually, yes. We are working on getting one of the green signs, and somewhere out there, there's some debate about where we can put it, but it may have to go near or close to a WKCTC sign, maybe. But yes, we're working on getting that. It'll also be a small 6 square foot sign, just a directional sign, right at the intersection of 62 and Audubon, that kind of catches your attention to turn on to Audubon to come to our campus.
Any other questions?
The sign will be externally lit
I
also.
started to ask, when you say externally, it means that the light will be shining on it from
That's correct.
source outside of the sign itself. Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Yes, sir. Morrison,
Aye.
Shramky,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Wade,
Aye.
Resilius,
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. Lorraine, you have the Terrence Orr 936 North 10th, the request for approval.
I move that this commission receive and file the application of Terrence Orr for the approval of a parking lot in an R3 zone pursuant to section 126-104-6A of the Paducah zoning ordinance. I further move that this commission find that the proposed parking lot will not be detrimental to the adjoining residential area. 2, an M1 light industrial zone is located to the north of this site. 3, approval of the parking lot brings the site into less nonconformance of the Paducah zoning ordinance. I further move the application be approved.
Second.
Seconded by Shadle.
No, it's just a site plan. Who seconded that, sir?
Shadle.
Okay.
Discussion or questions?
This is just kind of a Google map question. North 10th Street came up as East St. Louis or St. Louis. Does anyone know why that would be? That's, okay. Just-
Google does some funny things. I was searching today for something, and it came up as, instead of Farmington, Missouri, it came up as Farmington, Michigan, so it gave me that map, so
There will be some, what you do not see on this plan, there will be some screening.
We've added 6-foot privacy fence along the, I guess it'd be the east side property line.
It's not on your plat, but for our existing Paducah zoning regulations require screening of automobile parking lots from residential areas. The mobile home you see on the right-hand side, that will be screened by a 6-foot wooden fence down the perimeter of that parking area.
Okay. Any other questions?
And
Steve, go ahead. You had
very nice facility. I actually had a chance to tour it a while back, and he's done a really nice job with it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Call roll, please.
Yes, sir. Schramke,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Wade,
Aye.
Grisilius,
Aye.
Morrison,
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. Ron, you have the habitat motion for Monroe Street property.
I move that this commission receive and file the application of Habitat for Humanity for the proposed subdivision of property located at 1109, 1111, and 1115 Monroe Street. I further move that the requested approval be given in compliance with all other applicable provisions of the Paducah subdivision ordinance be waived.
Second by Schramke. Any discussion?
I had a question on this one.
Dan?
The report showed that we were combining 3 40-foot lots into 2 65-foot lots. And although I went to public school, normally there's about a 10-foot difference there. So I'm not sure how we're
Got to
doing
this
this.
point, huh?
If these were actually 40-foot lots, they may be
New math.
43.33 feet.
Is that new math?
New math.
Do you know whether they were 43.33 feet or each of the old lots or?
I don't think he,
Oh,
it's not theirs.
I'm sorry, that's not yours. No, you didn't, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't work, does it?
I think that would have to be corrected.
Yeah, actually, the city of Paducah, by plat within the last year, actually sold those to Habitat, those 3 lots. So there is a deed on those 3 properties. We just need to check into that, Dan, and make sure that plat's correct.
And they were sold to them as 65 feet each, Burning
No.
and Monroe.
But the plat shows 65 foot, these subdividing 130 feet, although there were 3, they mentioned 40-foot lots, so.
Well, he's showing 2 65-foot lots now,
Right,
which
and
is 130, and there was 3.
Or 3,
So they've been 40-something foot, yeah.
40.33 maybe. And that was just something that I thought we might need to get cleared up before.
Does it say that on the plat? Is where you got that at?
It's
In
on the
intent? Oh, on the report.
Page 8,
Okay.
bottom.
And it didn't show the original dimensions of those lots.
Yes, 340, where it should be 42-foot lots or something like that.
43.33 would be accurate.
4333.
My inclination is the plat's probably correct, that the area you actually see is within the staff report under the 340-foot lots.
Okay.
Well, if it's not, I'm sure we'll hear about it. Thank you for the math. Appreciate it. On roll, please.
Shadle,
Aye.
Wade,
Aye.
Resilius,
Aye.
Morrison,
Aye.
Schramke,
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. Kathy, you have wind
I
sail
will set my check on that
service.
tomorrow, Dan.
Yes, sir. I move that this commission receive and file the application of Wind Sales and Service Incorporated for the proposed re-subdivision of property located at 1115, 1119, 1127, 1145, and 1147 Broadway. I further move that the requested approval be given, and compliance with all other applicable provisions of the Paducah subdivision ordinance be waived.
Second?
That you, Bob Wade. Discussion. abolishing only interior lot lines, is that correct?
I believe we're establishing, aren't we,
Establishing
on the outsides.
two,
Is it just abolishing?
Well, you're gonna arrest, it's gonna be one,
3 big lots.
all of them 3 big lots.
Well, these are
A, B,
existing.
and C.
Got 2 lot lines, it looks like, that aren't being abolished.
The new lot lines are actually existing lot lines. We're just abolishing the interior lot lines, and we're dedicating a radius down at 12th Street.
Question, you have a really narrow section running down, excuse me, the middle of Tract A. Was this some type of,
That was a
dedicated,
previous, I think, the far eastern lot bought a portion off of, I guess, the far western lot, and it created a narrow piece somehow or another. I'm not really sure. Wind Sales and Service bought it with these in 3 tracks, just like this is shown. His deed
excuse me,
is that way, so.
The existing property is elevated. And there are 2 or more entrances off of Broadway. So this would mean that there would be an additional one somewhere?
I believe every tract is served with
with an entrance?
an entrance. The far eastern tract I know is served actually from the rear, out off the alley. The middle tract, I'm pretty sure, has 2 entrances.
That egress ingress is probably very close to where the line is there.
I would think so. I was concerned that that narrow piece might have been some kind of utility easement or something like that.
No, it was somehow due to, Rick wasn't able to attend, and he's the one that worked it up, and he said it was due to some previous dedication, or one of the tracks bought some off of another track.
Any other questions? I assume some of this is gonna be sold and some, or all of
He's
it.
gonna market it, yeah, to sell.
Reason
I
I
believe he-
ask, I saw cars out there today.
He, I believe he has a tenant in
He
the
does.
main building there
Yeah, they've got a new
to
sign
leasing,
up.
so.
His son's I'm surprised he didn't.
Who was it?
It's good to see.
Okay, so much for speculation, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Crecilius,
Aye.
Morrison,
Aye.
Shramky,
Aye.
Shadle,
Aye.
Wade,
Aye.
Chairman Manchester.
Aye. Bob, you have the City of Paducah waiver request for North Fifth Street.
I think I have that. Right here?
David, you got that one?
Yes, sir.
It's 9047.
Yes, sir, that's correct. I move that this commission receive and file the application of the City of Paducah and Henry and Neva Rudy for the proposed re-subdivision for property located at 505, 511, and 517 North Fifth Street. I further move that the requested approval be given in compliance with all other applicable provisions of the Paducah subdivision ordinance be waived.
Second.
Seconded by Crecilius. Discussion.
Yes, sir. Just 1 second. What you see here is we're obviously abolishing a couple of interior property lines and creating one property line for dedication to the 2 adjacent properties, which is Track A and Track B. The City Commission last week approved a municipal order that allowed for that transfer to property owners for new residential infill construction. These two lots will be one of two of three new residences being built in the Lowertown Arts District. So basically what we've done is added 20 feet to each adjacent lot for new construction.
Discussion or questions?
The new construction's going in Track B.
Track B and Track A. The Track A has already gone to the Historical Architecture Review Commission, received approval for the demolition of that structure. There'll be a new 2,500 square foot structure built there.
The plat shows William and Julie Oakley, but it's really belonging to Henry and Neva Rudy.
Okay, I wrote
Rudy.
Rudy's on it.
That's their property.
Do we have any builders on this other property yet, or?
Yes, the city took proposals through their proposal process and received one proposal for an 1,800 square foot, two-story structure to be built on Track B, new infill residential construction.
Wonderful. Call the roll, please.
Yes, sir. Morrison?
Aye.
Thank you. Shadle?
Aye.
Wade?
Aye.
Griselius?
Aye.
Chairman Manchester?
Aye. Any other business? We stand adjourned. Thank you.